Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Time Out, your no-flop zone. Unfortunately, my usual co-host Joey Wright is off injuring himself in the Gold Coast. I think he's done a hammy at the Masters Games. But in his place, we've got a fantastic replacement, the one and only Scott Ninnis. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thank you. Nice to be here. No flop zone. I never flopped in my life because I never played defence. So
well, yeah, there you go. I remember the line. Couldn't go to an elephant and lock safe to the
You were very cruel to me, Boti.
Only a couple of times. So let's talk NBL. Actually, before we do it, let's find out, for the benefit of the viewers and the fans, your fans, what have you been up to?
Yeah, a couple of things. A bit more time on my hands now, which is worked out nice. But yeah, obviously I'm doing stuff with Brett with Ninnis basketball, and we've had that running for a couple of years now, where we provided regional holiday camps. We always had planned to do it extended and do it locally, as well as corporate days and guest speaking visits and stuff like that. So we've gone into that whole hog now. We've partnered with Basketball SA and we're doing local camps during the school holidays as well as regional ones. So that's been really exciting. And also my business Premium Wine Tours has been a little bit on hold for the last year and a half since I got back into coaching. So we're really looking at pushing that again and leading up to Christmas, making that a real thriving business again.
Excellent. Now I'm presuming that you've still been following the NBL.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the thing I want to talk about straight away now is the emergence of New Zealand and Southeast Melbourne. Like, where do you rate them?
Oh, look, I think New Zealand, probably along with everyone, I thought that that NBA games they'd fall in a hole when they came back, but they've been really, really impressive, obviously, and what they did on the weekend was just incredible. And I think probably more than any other team, they've got their established hierarchy. You've got Jackson Cartwright. It's the best player in the best team at the moment. They've got shooters, they've got role players. I love the way they're going to Meninga early in games and establishing that interior presence. So I think they've got everything sorted out much better than what other teams have at the moment. And they've been incredibly impressive what they've done. And Southeast Melbourne, I mean, they've dug themselves a bit of a hole, but once again, there's an energy building there that you can just feel watching them play. And I think both of those teams, by the looks of it, are very well coached. I do feel bit sorry for Sam McKinnon. He didn't do a lot wrong in his
2-1
in his time, but I think you've seen two coaches there that high energy, have got really good game plans, and I think it's such an even year. The Phoenix are 4-6, I think they are, but it's not going to take much to move up the ladder.
No, it really isn't, because I mean they've gone 4-1. Since they replaced Mike Kelly. I like the fact that their rotations make sense. In some games I'm watching and some teams I'm watching, most notably probably Perth and Brisbane, I often can't follow what they're doing with their rotations. Like, why is that guy coming in and this guy just played 1 minute? But whereas New Zealand and Southeast Melbourne now, I'm looking at them and they make sense.
I think I'm old school. I don't know how you play 11 or 12 players. I just don't understand in a 40-minute game. To me, it's impossible to get any sort of momentum going as a player. So I think New Zealand, it probably hasn't hurt that, Mojave King and Mitch McCarron and Darling have been out. That shortens the rotation once again. You're not trying to find minutes to everyone. I've seen, Gorgon over the last couple of weeks is, Sean Bruce and a couple other players aren't playing as much. So I think I love an 8-man rotation, perhaps a 9th man, and I think you're seeing that with those teams. There's a purpose to what they're doing.
That's the two that are on the way up. The two that are on the way down, Cairns and Tasmania. I mean, Cairns at full strength I really like, but I don't know if we'll ever see them at full strength. And Tasmania, I think this is the year where they've kind of hit the wall a little bit. No Jack McVeigh. And they're on the way down.
Well, Jack McVeigh, we know, is a huge out. I mean, don't forget Marcus Lee was in that team last year and was a really valuable part of that. That two-headed monster with him and Magno. They gave us all sorts of dramas and really put the pressure on Isaac when we played them. But I think right now it's time that Crawford and Doyle just pulled their finger out. I mean, they're not. They need to be, super aggressive offensively and take that team on their shoulder and make up the slack. I don't know if they're looking at making a move, but you look at it and it seems to be unbalanced at the moment. I'd rather a 4-man than Sword, and that's no offence to what he does. He's a good defender, but they seem to have gaping needs in that team at the moment.
Scoring, I mean, if you get 60 against...
Hence why, Doyle and Crawford, take that team on their back. I'd rather see a bad shot from them than a good shot from a couple of other players.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about the Boomers team in a second, but Jack White's in it, and Jack White, he really finished off Sydney this week. We just got a little bit of footage of the last couple of plays that Jack was involved in.
White gives it back to Dellavedova. It's going to be White, who's been red hot from long range the last couple of weeks.
Playing against Gorge, who left him out of the Olympic team, but he's playing against Xavier Cooks, who's direct matchup for the Boomers.
For a sore Jalen Adams. We're all locked up. Dellavedova finds White again!
Oh, wow!
Oh, he brings the crowd to their feet! And he's pumped!
Going forward, and he has risen. I've got him in the MVP conversation.
Now, what about Hawks coach Justin Tatum? You've had a little bit to do with him. Do you think they're getting a bit too caught up in the umpiring right now, the Hawks?
I think a lot of teams are getting too caught up in the umpiring. I think it's a problem. I mean, I don't want to watch a game of basketball and listen to Jason Tatum, John Rilling, and Mike Wells crap onto the referees for 40 minutes, and that's what's happening. But I also think it's the referees' fault. I mean, they could nip that in the bud straight away. Call a warning in the first quarter. They keep going, call a tech. You watch how quickly that'll pull coaches into line. And I think it's the same when we talk about flopping. They review the games. If you see someone flop, you give them an official warning. The next one's a fine. Maybe the next one's a suspension. I mean, there's ways of stopping the bad...
I've got a way to do that. I've said this all along. The first time you see a player flop, tech foul his coach.
Yep.
That's it. It's over.
I like it.
It's over.
I like it. But yeah, I think I understand the frustration of the refereeing, and you don't want to take the human emotion out of coaching either, because you're obviously looking to protect your players.
Yep.
I've been known to be a little emotional at times when I was coaching as well. But right now it's just a problem, and that's all we hear about is the refereeing and seeing those coaches go on and on and on during the course of the game, and it's not a good look. And I've got the utmost respect for Tatum and John Riley, who's a championship teammate of mine. But right now it's taking away from the look of the game.
On a more positive note, Jesse Wagstaff broke Ricky Grace's record at the Wildcats for most games played for the club, 483. Quick question, how many charges do you think he's taken in that 483? And how many times did he flop?
I wonder when you said flopping, I wonder why you thought of Jesse Wagstaff.
I was moving it along.
Oh, look, it's, and you go through the history. Dusty Reichardt was a known flopper too in his time here at Adelaide, but he'd fall over in a stiff wind. But I agree. But Wagstaff has made a career out of it. And look, it's an incredible journey, an incredible record, and to move ahead of Ricky Grace on the Perth Wildcats all-time record is just stunning. Yeah. So, all credit to him. He's 5-time championship winner, I think it is now. It's a great career. I remember watching him as a young kid before he started playing in the NBL. We're in Canberra watching a Boomers team, and the university team was training next to it. And I remember watching that, and he was in that group, and thinking, this guy is just unbelievable. Just didn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
Shot the ball well. You could see right then he was going to have a really bright career. I don't think anyone thought it was going to go on for this long.
Quite this, but very selective with his shooting too. Like, he picks his moments to take that shot.
Yeah, just a consummate role player.
Yeah, another quick one. Talking about consummate role player, what a beautiful segue, Scotty. You didn't even notice.
I do my best.
Shayley, 250 games. That's an interesting and entertaining career.
Melbourne United, I know they had a hiccup on the weekend, but to me they're still the championship favourite. I think there's so much talent, but Shayley's the most important player in that team to me. I think he sets the bar. I don't say this lightly, but to me, he belongs in the same conversation as Damian Martin and Darnell Mee as far as all-time defenders. Maybe my old mate Darren Lucas, he might get shitty if I don't mention him as well. But I think he's that good and that important to that team. When he's out of that team, they're nowhere near as good as when he's in that team.
He's not in the New Zealand team, which is playing the quarterfinal or the qualifying games for the Asia Cup New Zealand national team, which we've got up on the screen for you now. He's not in that, but Sam Wardenberg is, and his form this year, he's been carrying Cairns a fair bit. Let's talk about the Australian team though, because they're going away to Thailand later this month for big games against Thailand, who are ranked 88th in the world, and Korea, who are ranked 53.
Yeah.
We're currently at 7, which is probably fair for where we sit right at the minute. So it should be a reasonably easy task for the Australian team. Are you surprised that Will Magnay's not there, or Dellavedova? Because I kind of think if they're not there, they didn't make themselves available.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not privy to what happens behind the scenes and what they're looking from a selection point of view, who makes themselves available, as you're saying, and who doesn't. But to me, I don't understand for the life of me why you have Chris Goulding and Nathan Sobey in that team. I mean, neither of them are going to play any major tournament for us moving forward.
No.
I like the fact that Lachlan Albricks and these guys, and I'm a big fan, and he was my number one target trying to get back to Adelaide. I hope that still happens at some stage. But they're the future.
Dave O'Hickey.
Let's invest in them. Like you said, we're still going to go over and win those games. So let's invest in those young kids. And it just seems a bit out of whack with the young talent that they're pushing to get through, and the old heads. And maybe they say they're like, well, we have to win these games, so that's why they're in there. But to me, it just seems it doesn't quite sit right with me.
I would like to have seen Alex Toohey in that team. He's
absolutely.
There. Yeah. Talking some NBA now, and just looking at a couple of the Australian men. Dyson Daniels, he had a bit to say to the New Orleans Pelicans after he hit this shot.
Daniels, he drills a 3. Check this extra sauce at the end of this one. Daniels drills it, turns to the bench and says, how you like that one? Timeout in New Orleans.
Let's talk a little bit about Paddy, because we don't talk much about Paddy at the moment because he hasn't been doing a whole lot at Utah. We've got a little bit of footage of him hitting a few shots against, of course, San Antonio Spurs. That's the team you want to hit shots against. Let's have a look.
Mills finds Collins. Sexton looks inside out. Patty Mills, 3-ball. Rainbows it in. That's a beautiful, pure 3-pointer.
Patty Mills, man.
A little off balance, right?
Yeah. Boy, really digging the defense, Bowler, for the Jazz. Creating less field goal attempts.
How about that ball movement? Oh,
Mills.
Back-to-back threes. Eubanks picks it up and clears the Mills. Right now, the hot hand. Why not? Straight away. Pounded the chest is Patty Mills.
On those threes. 3 in a row, Bowler.
Inside Collins. Floats it home.
And here's some footage of Paddy dishing the ball, getting a few teammates involved as they beat the Chicago Bulls and win their first game of the season.
I mean, just kind of reminds you like of a James Harden type of guy.
Collins had to make a tough adjustment with Jalen Smith ready to reject it. Ellis looking around, trying to find his man. He gets matched up with Mills, who takes a quick 3 over Ellis and hits. Patty Mills, veteran guy, has made a lot of 3-pointers in his career.
Particularly someone who played at that level last year with the G League Ignite. And Mata said he's always looked at it as part of his development. He has no problem going. As we saw,
Casey.
Don Collins, Big Stacey King put on his poster machine.
Man,
for this break.
Woo! This is where they needed a poster machine. Oh man, he elbowed him in the face and the posterized. Oh Lord, have mercy! Get out the way, little Kobe! Get out the way!
So Vucevic is back in. This fires badly. Utah lead, and they're trying to make a double-digit lead. And Williams will do just that on a great Patty Mills feed. Just to wrap it up, Tamer Anderson, Quincy Jones, juke joint out. Also good. There's Collins, who...
Look, where did that come
from? I don't know. I have no idea. It disappeared out of thin air. Okay, we're just going to have a quick look at Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's an interview with him just ahead of Halloween, and he's dressed in a Halloween costume. We'll just have a quick look at this.
Why did I choose this? Because I actually know, like once you get, are you married? Yeah. You're married, so you know you don't have no say in things. You know, when the day start, you have like a schedule. This is what you're gonna do today, right? You're gonna go to practice. You're gonna come back. You're gonna interact with the kids. Then you're gonna take a nap, and then we have a costume ready for you. You're gonna put that costume. It doesn't matter what you feel, win or lose. You're gonna wear that costume, because at the end of the day, you're a father, and after the basketball player. So this is why I choose this costume, because I'm a father first. I have 3 kids. I have to go entertain my kids.
Okay, so being a father comes first. You've never dressed up in anything crazy, have you?
Oh, I knew this was going somewhere. Yes, I suppose you got a photo of that too. Me dressed as a wizard outside my townhouse on Anzac Highway. I've never ever lived that down either, and it was your fault. And you blamed Ray Titus, I know. I got this stupid bloody wizard's hat and the whole outfit on. And then, to make matters worse, it was because we were playing the Magic my former team.
Yep.
I get the little segue there, but then we lost to them in the final anyway, so it was doubly worse for us.
Ray got it wrong. I'll finally explain this. I said, let's get him in a magician costume, top hat, suit, like you're pulling a rabbit out or something. That's what we were going for. He's gone down to the costume shop and gone, they haven't got any magician. This wizard thing.
I've never lived it down to this day. Something that happened 30 years ago, actually.
Wow. Okay. Now, due to the magic of technology, we've got a very big surprise for you. We've actually got Coach's Corner with the coach, Joey Wright. Magic. He's off at the Masters. Have you given me that 30 piece that you said you were going to get?
I'm definitely going to get a 30 piece at the Masters. That might be over 10 games. 3 a game for 10 games.
You can do that.
Got my 30 piece. All right.
Okay. Let's do the Coach's Corner. What do you got for us?
Coach's Corner. I want to talk about the All-Star Game. It seems to be a big topic right now. I played in a few All-Star games over my time. I have coached in the NBL All-Star Game as well. And I thought it was an exceptional event. I love it. I think it's great. I love to bring back. It's got to be done tastefully, though. The NBA All-Star Game right now, I don't even look at the NBA All-Star Weekend anymore. I think it's the biggest joke ever. But if you do it right, I'd like to combine it with the female population in some way, whether shooting, whatever it is, but involve it with the WNBL as well. But get them out, dunk contests, maybe 3-point shooting contests. Play a game. I don't like the import versus Aussie. Or
you don't like that?
Nah.
Because that's a format that would work, because there'd be something on that. The imports want to show something. The Aussies want to show something. North versus South or East versus West. I don't know that. I think you'll end up in the same situation you got in the NBA.
Yeah, but I still think if we play amongst each other, it's more spirited. It's more fun watching, a couple guys that should be playing with each other. That's from Melbourne United playing with someone from Tasmania on the same team. So I think people would look for that and look for the synergies or lack of synergies between that. I just think it'd be fun to mix it up a little bit. Have the coach that's leading at that particular time in the competition and last year's championship coach. If it's the same, go to the second.
Okay.
Go to the coaches in second place.
The last good NBL All-Star Game I recall was Brian Goorjian was coaching the imports, and Phil Smythe was coaching the Australians. Mm-hmm. And they played in Townsville. Brad Newley got MVP of that game, so that's how long ago it was. Yeah. He was still a rookie that season. But there was definitely feeling in that, especially when Phil Smythe went to zone and won the game.
An All-Star game.
Yeah, exactly. That was Brian's point of view. Like, it's an All-Star game, mate. But there was something in that. They were like, with something to prove. I'm just not sure. Looking at the way the NBA has gone, I mean, it's Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, the NBA stuff is just a joke. They're inviting too many people to be involved in All-Star Weekend that's not an All-Star, that's never played basketball. It's just hanging out. You got your celebrity game. You got your, social media influencers, and it's too much. We're there for basketball. Let's play some basketball.
Don't you think the idea of the All-Star Game originally was to sort of really showcase the best that we have, whereas now with the quality of the competition, is there any need for it?
Well, it's a marketing tool, but no, I think you're able to speak about your all-stars and publicize them, and you just get one more weekend or one more day that people get to talk about the players. So I think it's for marketing, if anything. Even in the NBA, it was originated for marketing. But I think it's some things they could do. Even maybe a one-on-one competition at the end. Like NBA started off that way back in the day. They actually played horse too.
Really?
At the NBA, Pistol Pete played Iceman in the finals. Pistol Pete won one year. So yeah,
that would have been fun to watch.
Actually, it's fun. It's on YouTube. So when you're looking at our channel on YouTube, go ahead and check out the Iceman and Pistol Pete going at it.
The dunk competition. Who do you reckon, Joey, would have been spectacular to watch that we might have missed out because we haven't had a dunk competition over the last few years?
Well, definitely. I mean, Terrence Ferguson. He would.
Well, he did win one.
He did win it. He won in the Blitz, but hands down, he would be above. He lost that. He actually lost that.
Did he?
Yep. We can fact check. We'll go to fact check on this, but I think Terrence lost that by trying to do that ridiculous 3-point dunk where you shoot it off the glass, it bounces, hits the ground, goes up, catch it between the legs, dunk. Now, I've seen him do this cold, walking into the gym one day. Terrence, can you do that 3-point dunk thing? Yeah, coach. Straight off the glass, in jeans, banks it, grabs it between the legs, dunk it. Walks on to the gym and get dressed. We're just blown away. So I think he wins it hands down, but we can talk about some second place people over time. But I think Terrence would have won it.
What about Leon Trimmingham?
That's the one I was talking about. But Leon's a big 2-foot jumper.
Right.
So 2-foot jumpers don't really showcase that much in dunk contests. Dominique Wilkins back in the day, Dominique was one of the highest jumpers that no one ever wanted to jump like, cause he could get way above the rim, but it was all 2-foot jumping. So in the dunk contest, it looks better when it's one leg stuff. So.
Okay, well, I'm sending you back to the Masters now. Don't get hurt. We want you to be in good shape.
Go back and throw some dunks down.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got the last bit. Right, we're back and we're talking this round of the NBL. Some big games starting off with Brisbane, Melbourne. In Brisbane, how do you see that after the United copped such a shellacking from New Zealand?
Beware the team that's just lost. That's a really good team. I know the teams that I was... The really good teams, the championship teams that I was always involved with, you did not want to play us after a loss because you're grumpy because you don't think you should have lost in the first place. And then especially what happened to them. I think my old mate Justin Schuler might be in a bit of trouble here. I expect Melbourne to come out all guns blazing.
Yeah, likewise. But you also get that week too where you're probably training and you really can't wait.
Well, you're
to
taking it out on each other, but then it's nice to take it out on someone else as well.
Okay, we've got Perth and Tasmania.
Look, Tasmania, I think are in trouble. I think it's Perth are Perth are hard to predict at the moment. You don't know what's going on with them either, and obviously Cotton is a huge out, but I would expect Perth to get that game.
Okay, one of the two games I think might be classed as game of the round is Sydney, Southeast Melbourne. Yeah,
that's interesting. Look, I think you still need to go with Sydney. I think they've got a lot of talent, and I certainly expect them at some stage to click.
Sure.
I think it's, they're going to win enough games along the way anyway. They've probably got more talent than anyone else. Jalen Adams, I'm not sure what's going on there. I mean, we tried desperately hard to get him here, like desperately hard, but that back, is obviously a problem. I don't know whether he needs to sit for a couple of weeks and get it right, because it looks like it's difficult to play through that at the moment, and they're going to need him going forward.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I'm actually tipping an upset there, I think.
Okay.
Well, just they're on a bit of a roll, Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Joey's got a theory that you win 3 games in a row before you sort of exhale, and that's when somebody gets you. So I'm going with that. Okay. What about New Zealand, Tasmania?
Oh, you can't go past New Zealand at the moment. I mean, they're rolling. The only thing I'll say is that you never underestimate a Scott Roth coach team.
No.
And that they're going to play hard. That they're going to play it out. Generally, if they get down in the game, they continue to play through it. They can get back from deficits, but we haven't seen that obviously as much this year. But it's hard to go against New Zealand at the moment. Yeah,
Scott Roth in all 3 years prior to this one has never changed imports. There's been pressure on him at times with his imports to sort of make an adjustment, because right now that would be coming pretty strongly about Craig Sword. So it's interesting to see whether they'll make that move where they think we can
Are
salvage
you
the
saying
season.
they should put him to the sword?
Oh,
it's early. Sorry. I didn't sleep very well last night.
No, all right, we got Perth at Melbourne.
Melbourne. Yeah, I think, once again, Melbourne will be smarting from that loss to New Zealand, and then getting back home with Perth having to do the travel as well. I think Melbourne win that.
Okay, Southeast Melbourne, Cairns.
Southeast Melbourne, I think, as we spoke about, I think they're the team with a bullet that are going places. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Sydney either, but Cairns have lost their way a little bit.
Cairns need some personnel. They need some people to get back.
They do.
And be healthy.
They do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the other game that I could maybe think might be match of the round, depending on who shows up for them, is Adelaide and Illawarra.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an exciting game. I spoke to Jason Tatum when we were in Las Vegas about Trey Curl, and he couldn't believe that we hadn't picked him up. And as soon as he became available, they jumped on him. And you've seen his form in those first few games; it was quite incredible.
Well,
So,
let me ask you that. What was the reticence in re-signing?
Look, I thought we moved on from him too quickly. I thought that, the question was put to me by someone that, if you had a point guard that averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists, would you take him? And you'd go, well, of course you would. And that's what he did when he moved to the point guard last year. That's what he did. And he's a big guard and he defends. Yep. And, you've seen the way he started this year is quite incredible. Yeah. I do. I think we moved on from him probably too quickly. But I know he'll be excited about coming back.
If he's playing.
If he's playing, of course.
Yeah.
Look, I think Adelaide will win. I think, that place, one of the things we focused on a lot last year was trying to re-establish the entertainment centre as a fortress. And the team has done that in the back half of last year, and what they've done this year. It's a bloody hard place to come in and win games. The crowds continue to come out. There'll be another 9,500 people in there. So I expect Adelaide to win that one and win well.
Okay, I'm the opposite, because Adelaide, I think one of the games that turned this corner for Adelaide was beating the Hawks in Wollongong.
Yep.
So now I sort of think there's a bit on it for the Hawks, especially after losing to Perth.
Yeah.
All this other controversy that's gone on, the loss to Melbourne, etc. So I think that other factors may pay it.
Take it back. I don't think they'll win well. I think, but yeah, Illawarra, once again, they're a good team who have lost their way a little bit. Once again, they're not going to. To me, they're still a top 4 team. No better time to get back on track against a team that's very good at home.
Well, I think we've won well by having you come in as guest for Joey, and that's our show for this week. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe or leave some comments. I'm sure you'd love to see some comments. Scotty,
absolutely. I'm not sure Joey's going to get his gig back after this week. But especially, mate, he'd have to limp up the stairs without having. I saw that at the first game.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I don't understand. A lot of my mates still play basketball on Monday nights. They've snapped Achilles, they've had shoulder reconstructions. Now, I find it difficult enough to get out of bed with these knees anyway, let alone playing Monday nights and going up to the Gold Coast and doing your hammy. Yeah. More than happy just to watch it. Enjoy the social aspect of basketball, not the injury side of it.
The big question is always, why?
Yeah.
Why? When you why did I do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see who we've got next week. Ciao for now.